Oh, welcome to the Overheard Podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Daniel Rudel. With me always is my co-host,
Matty Rage.
Let's go. Welcome back for our third episode today, September 30th. Before we begin, we do want to take a moment to acknowledge that today is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, time to honor children who never returned home, the survivors of residential schools and their families and communities. We recognize the ongoing impacts of colonialism and commit to listening, learning, and taking meaningful action towards reconciliation in the town of Banff and beyond. Often overlooked in Banff, I feel. We are on sacred ground to many First Nations.
Big time.
So we just want to take a moment to acknowledge that. Our guest today, Marc Ledwidge, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
How's the day going so far?
It's going good. Yeah.
So far, so good. A little rainy out there now. The temperature dropped probably like 5 degrees since this morning. I feel like I should have brought an extra jacket. But before we get too far into things, let's check in with our friends over at Drink Shaft. They've been winning awards, doing all kinds of fun stuff lately. So let's pop in with them.
Let's do it.
Welcome back. Big shout out to Drink Shaft. You know, the fun's not over just because summer's over. You
That's
can
right.
fall into fall with Drink Shaft. Keep on getting those drink shafts in you. Just because summer's over doesn't mean the fun has to stop. You know, the alcoholic cans have 2 shafts in them, so you can always share them with a
Nice.
friend. Great if you're out and about or heading to the bar. I like mine in the morning on the way to the ski hill or on my way to work. You know, those early mornings are about to start again. And
Oh, buddy, it's going to be dark and then you're going to feel like crap in the morning. Just grab a non-alcoholic shaft, crush one on the way to work. Bang, bang, you're ready to go.
there you go. You're ready. You're ready. Back to our guest, Marc. If you don't know Marc moved to Banff in the spring of 1981. He worked for Parks Canada for 33 years, where his career started as a backcountry warden patrolling by horseback to every corner of Banff National Park. A passion for climbing and skiing came naturally, and during the winter months, he worked with Parks Canada on avalanche patrol at the Lake Louise ski area. One of my personal favorites. Marc's decision to become qualified as a certified mountain guide led to a position on Parks Canada's mountain rescue and avalanche safety program. He is honored to have worked and contributed to this group of wardens and mountaineers. He is retired from Parks Canada. Or when he retired from Parks Canada, he was leading significant organizational changes for that program and its future success. Marc has traveled the world for work, including guiding, helicopter rescue work, brief assignment with the mountain rescue team in Chamonix, France. He's bilingual. Once he retired from Parks, he was elected president of the Association of Canadian Mountain Guides, a volunteer position that he held for 3 terms spanning 6 years. Today, Marc enjoys volunteering with Community Cruisers, a nonprofit that promotes cycling in Banff and Canmore and recycles bicycles into the communities, which I think is much needed. I think bicycle travel is a great asset here in the town of Banff and Canmore.
Well, Banff is very cycle friendly and walk friendly. And
I'm taking my bike everywhere.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So thank you so much for joining us. Cycling, yeah. Big part. I love getting around on my bike.
Mhm.
Why is that a focus for you? You just love it?
Well, more bikes means less cars.
True.
Fair enough.
And it's easy to get around in Banff on a bike. If you live at Upper Middle Springs, it's a bit of a climb, or up at Tatanga. There's definitely a climb on a bike, but a lot of people are on e-bikes nowadays too. So
Oh, fair enough.
that
right?
makes it pretty easy.
E-bikes rip
but-
uphill.
But yeah, that means less cars.
Nice.
So you came to Banff a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about Banff that made you fall in love with it?
Well, I came here because, I got a job here. And then I think it's pretty obvious why you'd fall in love with the place. And I ended up staying here, meeting my wife here within a year or two. And haven't left. So it's a very nice place.
For sure.
Common story, come out here because you either got a job or just check it out. And
Mm-hmm.
30 years later, you're like, oh, I'm still here.
I mean, yeah, my first year I could have been assigned to Jasper or Glacier, but I ended up here.
So kind of by chance.
A little bit, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, there was a little bit of choice and jockeying for position, but
Yeah, nice.
Banff is definitely was a premier place to get to.
Not an easy place to stay. While we're on the topic, what advice would you give to someone who wants to make Banff their long-term home?
Well, yeah, there's lots of hurdles to deal with for sure. Like, everybody talks about housing. Of course, that's an issue.
No doubt.
And wages. It's tough to find a decent paying job here.
Well, if you look at, mountain guiding, safety rescue, these positions are high risk, often under rewarded, especially if you look at, I don't know, like the flak. I'm noticing like online. I remember a while ago, people were going nuts about the helicopter operation in Canmore.
Yeah.
And the amount of noise that it produces.
Yeah.
Where they also lead most of the rescues for
this
whole area.
They do. Yeah. They're the helicopter provider for the rescue service here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we need those.
Yeah. And they're busy. Very busy.
I mean,
fair enough.
We've reported on a few. I think one of them in particular, maybe it was in Jasper, where the people just decided they had had enough on a hike and they called in for a rescue.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That can't be cheap.
No, but that's not the majority of incidents.
No.
There's some frivolous ones, of course, but that's not the majority.
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty legit.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You like snap an ankle out in the backcountry, like you're not getting home on that thing.
Nope.
You're not hobbling home, that's for sure.
There are definitely some remote parts to get to, and accidents do happen, unfortunately. So it's good to have these people in place for when they do, right? What made you want to get involved in local politics?
Well, like you said, I've been here a long time, and I have a lot invested in being here, and will hopefully continue to. And so I just want to participate and contribute, I hope. And that's why I jumped into the deep end here. And we'll see how it goes, I guess, Just I've never done anything like that before, but we'll see.
Well, I just said it on the show prior as well, and I don't think anyone can fault you for like wanting to learn, right? Like no one expects, I think, a first-time runner to have everything in the bag right away.
No.
But I think the willingness to learn and the willingness to put yourself in that situation, it's commendable. We have to tip our hats to you for
big time.
Thanks.
for being open to it, even. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I think I have a lot of experience to bring to the table that maybe other candidates may not, or we're all different,
for sure.
and ultimately it comes down to the voters, right? Who
Absolutely.
they want and what they want, and if they're getting it, or if they're not getting it, that's democracy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the more varied opinions that we could get working together on the council, I think will benefit us all in the long run, right?
Sure.
I mean,
Definitely.
a lot of underrepresented groups. I don't know. It depends who you ask. But I think the way we combat that is by turning out and voting our next officials in,
voter turnout is typically not that great. I mean, we'll see this time. With the petition last year on the pedestrian zone, the voter turnout was pretty good.
Yeah, it was
better than an election.
Yeah, we've talked about that a couple of times. It's just if everybody could be that involved in choosing the people on council instead of reacting to events that they could have had some say in what's going on behind the closed doors. You know what I mean? So get out there and vote, man. That's why we're doing this. We're having everybody we can on here to give their point of view and give the local crowd kind of a more honest representation of what people are about, and hopefully it works, man.
And I like what you said about that, Matt, is being proactive, like being proactive instead of reactive, right? Like the petition, the plebiscite, all that felt very reactive
Right.
to something where people felt they had no say in it. And again, it was very, very closely split. So we can't say that the winning side represents everyone as well.
Never does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It never does, right?
You can't win them all.
But again, it's
You only have to win by 1%.
That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
That's it. So that kind of got my ideas buzzing of, getting more people involved. And this is kind of a way that at least we could do it, is by giving people a platform to come and introduce themselves and let people really meet the candidates and what they stand for.
I appreciate it.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure. Thanks for taking the time, like over an hour versus a smaller portion or a smaller format, right? So you spent a lot of time all over the backcountry, all over Banff National Park. Do you have a favorite place or maybe a spot that a local could go get some quiet if they were looking for some?
Well, there's lots of places to get quiet.
I would think so too.
Yeah, I do have a few favorite places. You know, one of them is, you guys probably never heard of it, Clearwater Pass in the northeast end of the park. It's a spectacular place, Devon Lakes. And it's, from the Banff Jasper Highway, you can get there in a day.
Okay.
You know, probably like 8 to 10 hours of walking.
Oh, geez.
And, but it's definitely wilderness. And there's lots of that in Banff Park and a lot of the national parks. But it's a beautiful, amazing place.
Because I find myself looking for those opportunities now that I've kind of explored surrounding the highways and the easier access points. It's like, how do I get to these more remote places?
Well, there's lots of information available on how to get there, and a lot more than there used to be. And, you could go there. No, it's fall now, but probably most times in the summer and never see anybody there.
Yeah, right.
Almost guaranteed.
Well, yeah, I think the majority of visitors aren't really.
No, they're not.
They're not necessarily here to go on a 3-day backcountry backpacking trip. You know what I mean? They're here to kind of chill downtown, go see Lake Louise, go see Moraine.
But even in town here, you can walk past Surprise Corner in 10 minutes down by the river, and it's very quiet. There'll be people there, but it won't be crowded.
I was there yesterday.
Ever. Yeah,
there was probably maybe like middle of the day, maybe like 1 p.m. and less than 10 people, I would say, that I encountered on the Hoodoo Trail or Hoodoo Trail to Surprise Corner.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
exactly.
less than 10. So
wow,
there's places nearby, but there's definitely places that you can access, like backpack camping is something that I was hoping to explore this summer, but
I've done a little bit.
Summer.
Nothing too crazy, but
it seems incredible. Like, you can get, if you want wilderness, that's the way to get it.
Well, even you could just hike from the golf course out and go chill on Rundle. Like we were out there. There was maybe 3-4 people out there.
Well, I've explored this as an option to combat over tourism, was maybe to do a push for a different type of tourism, which included maybe more backcountry visitation. What do you think? Do you think that would be a plausible solution?
Perhaps, but most people, that's not what they're necessarily looking for.
Yeah, fair.
And most businesses, it's not necessarily what they're looking for.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, and that's all over the world, right? Same kind of thing. Most people tend to stick to high density locations.
And what's accessible, for sure.
And Banff is definitely a high density location.
I was like, as tourism keeps building, right, in Banff and the Bow Valley, it's a different type, right? Like, I feel like before it was more of an outdoor experience type tourist that would come here, whereas now it's more like someone wants to come and take a picture, right? Tourism has become this place of people drive from location to location to take pictures and then move on.
The whole Instagram.
We're a little bit less than exploring the places, whereas maybe that was once more the goal.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's easier to do when you're based here, when you don't have to come in from out of town. And like I said, go on a 3-day backpack trip may not be for everybody, but hey.
No, most of the day users, that's not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Banff sign, that's a big attraction in itself.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's a sign.
Yeah. I feel like all signs get like attention, like the old pedo sign or what I like. Pedo, sorry. People will always stop, and like, if there's a sign there, people will stop. Continental Divide, same thing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You put a sign, people will take pictures at it.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. That's what people want to say.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic, a little bit off questions, I've been writing about this. What's your take on the town Banff sign? Do you think it's in a good place? Should it be moved? Do you think
it is moving.
One? Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it's a traffic jam down there.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's moving. Yeah.
Like, do you think we need one? I don't know. I think if we put it maybe in the Central Park or somewhere where you want pedestrians to be versus bringing them to a roadside where you probably don't want pedestrians to be.
The previous sign wasn't as popular. This one just, because you can sit on it, stand by it, jump on it, stand on it, whatever. People love it. So it's kind of a big, we'll see how it turns out in the new location, I guess,
Well, what's the new location?
by the train station.
By the train station?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. So who knows? Again, there's parking there. I don't know. I think get people out of their cars, get them into like the Central Park or something, but who knows? You spent a lifetime in leadership roles from Parks Canada to the Association of Mountain Guides. What motivates you to keep stepping up for the community?
Well, I think I said it, I love this place, and, I've lived most of my adult life here, and plan to continue doing that. And, I just want to contribute to the future. Banff's changing a lot, but it's always changed a lot. It was crowded when I showed up here in 1981.
Yeah, fair.
It's just more crowded now. There's some big factors. The city of Calgary, back in the early 80s, late 70s, was 400,000 people.
Yeah.
It's like
Added 1 million people since then.
yeah, it's almost 4 times that.
Mhm.
And so that's huge pressure, right, of day users. And you just see it on the highway every time you drive to Calgary. That highway is busy.
Oh yeah, if you're leaving Banff on a Friday, or
Mhm.
if you're going opposite, it's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You drive
pretty
past the lineup at the gates and you're like,
So yeah, there's some
"Holy-"
challenges in dealing with all that. I mean, I don't have all the solutions, but I'd like to try some smaller solutions to start with that, see if we can help with some of that congestion. I think we can.
Where do you think the congestion lies? You think it's in the day use? The day use
Mostly, I
travelers?
think, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think so. And I think we can put a dent in that. There's been permit systems suggested for why do we let people go across the bridge, the Bow River Bridge, when there's no parking on the other side?
Yeah,
That doesn't
enough.
make any sense, right? Or motorhomes or big fifth wheels, and like, where are they going?
Yeah,
Yeah, like the
And
only,
we,
they're
the
trying
only-
to get to the hot springs.
well, the only parking up there
Arguably.
is like at the
At the hot
the-
springs.
yeah, and it's full
Soccer
at
gone.
9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or as somebody pointed out to me, think of the family that drove from Edmonton and they're driving around in a circle to find a place to park so they can find a washroom after their 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got grandpa in the back seat that needs a washroom,
Yeah.
and they can't even find a place to park.
True.
So, we got to get a handle on that. And I think we can. It would mean limiting the cars that come into town to
Yeah.
some degree, not closing the town.
Well, that was one of my later questions. Maybe we can go to it now. Is would you ever support a cap on vehicles or tourism? And what would
maybe
that
not
look like?
tourism,
But more vehicles.
but vehicles. I think we can, like I said, I think we can put a dent in it
yeah.
by limiting for the day.
Mhm.
Just like anything else. You used to be able to drive up to Tunnel Mountain Campground and get a campsite,
Mhm.
Yeah, fair enough.
if you get there early enough.
Yep.
Now you can't. Like, there's a permit system.
Yeah.
The world's pretty simple that way. You can reserve things in advance.
True.
So if you want to come to Banff next weekend, we'll reserve a parking spot.
Yeah.
It won't be that parking spot, but there's ways to do it.
Say
you know.
lot A or lot B.
Yeah, I'm
or-
not sure the details of it
Yeah.
exactly, but yeah, you could say, okay, you've got a 3-hour window to park, or a 5-hour. I'm not sure what it would be,
Or
but
you charge accordingly, whatever.
yeah. And I mean, the big fight we had over paid parking, we just lasted for years.
Yeah.
And you think about it, people that come from Calgary, for instance, they're used to paying for parking.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. You
Or if you live
sure.
anywhere else, you pay for parking, and now it's a non-issue, right?
Well, that's what I mean. I think it's a very good point to make, is that how big of an issue or how big of a conversation that once was, and
Yeah.
how we look at it now. It's quite minute or quite acceptable in people's
Yeah.
eyes, right?
Yeah.
To mitigate the day use. I think that's the big thing, right? When I spoke to someone about rental cars, their family uncle or something was in the rental car business, and they're
Mhm.
like, their fleet has grown in pretty big numbers. I forget exactly, but he's like, in the summer, they're rented out
Oh, yeah.
100% all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big issue, is how do we get people here? Because you don't want to be exclusionary. You don't want to tell people no, you still can come, but maybe you got to park somewhere else and then take a bus in, or a shuttle system.
Yeah,
or,
maybe, or try to, like, right now it's not that busy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Try to move people to different times of the year, the day users particularly. And I mean, actually, it's reasonably busy because of the holiday today, but
Yeah.
and of course the weather's been amazing. So
Yeah, like the last week's been pretty busy.
It
for
hasn't really
sure.
slowed much down
No.
in the old restaurant there.
and a lot of people want to come here in July, August, but
Mhm.
you know, sometimes it's not that pleasant when it's that busy.
Well, that's it. At what point does the end user start to suffer from
They
the
do.
amount of people that we let in?
Clearly they
right?
do.
Like, I think it's definitely starting when you have these perceptions of Lake Louise, or you see the advertisement of Lake Louise from whatever entity that's advertising people to go there. It's a beautiful lake. You know, there's no one in the shot. Whereas when you get there, it's like a concert
Mhm.
on the lake shore.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's not very nice there these days in the middle of summer.
Taking a canoe out there is, I think, close to $200 an hour.
Yeah,
now.
where
Was it
we at?
really?
Yeah, we were at Moraine
Yeah.
a couple of months back, and it was like $180 an hour for a
It's
canoe.
Crazy.
It's like, dude, for 2 hours, you could just buy a used canoe.
What an experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
You got to
straight
get it there though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's
We
the whole
went
thing.
up with Banff Mountain Chauffeur. We got to give them a big shout out. If you want to get up there, he let us bring our paddle boards and everything. It was a great time.
Oh, nice.
So,
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Sidebar. Anyways, let's move on to housing. Obviously, finding secure, affordable housing, affordable being in parentheses or market rate housing, as one of the biggest barriers of staying in Banff long term. What's your take on the current housing landscape?
Well, clearly there's a shortage given the number of people here
Of course.
that live here, want to live here. And there's no simple solution, but there's a few realities. There's one, for instance, the latest town housing, the Astor.
Mhm.
You know, you're talking a 2-bedroom condo for $500,000.
Yeah.
The math is pretty simple. Even if you make double minimum wage, that's
still
whatever it is,
out of your
$4,000.
reach.
It's never going to happen. Even if you had $100,000 down payment, it's not going to happen. So what's affordable? Well, the only way you make it affordable is for the government to pay for it and subsidize it. And some of the things that are happening now, I think, might backfire and make it less affordable because, you know, the price of land now has gone up with relaxing development costs. Then, you know, like say that this house is somebody wanted to redevelop it. The land now is worth a lot of money, way more than before.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
And so how do we deal with it? Well, you know, and the other piece to that puzzle, if a business that has 10 employees redevelops a business that has 30 employees,
We've touched on that in the
Then-
past. Where retail,
where there was extra 20 people going to live?
yeah.
Right.
So, and again, like a big part of the like train station ARP, which we'll touch on later, is about bringing more businesses to that train station area. Like, the more we grow, the more we keep growing business and putting more physical locations in for people to visit. We're going to need people to staff these locations. We're going to need people to clean these locations. So the town of Banff staff is going to grow if they're managing the cleaning or the maintenance of these
Right.
things,
Exactly.
right? So I think, like, I don't know, how do we deal with it?
Well, I don't have I wish I had the answers,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have to address it. So do we, you know, do businesses provide? I mean, a lot of businesses do provide housing,
Right.
of course,
Mhm.
and but not for everybody,
Yeah.
and not for every employee. You know, whether it's a manager or a frontline worker,
Mhm.
and but it's going to have to happen somewhere. And it used to, you know, 30 years ago, they'd just go to Canmore because it was cheap,
Yeah.
you know, and cheaper. And now Canmore's more expensive than Banff. So for real estate, you could argue, and so that's not a solution. And the vacancy rate is just as bad as it is here.
Mhm.
So, and you guys probably also know there's people that commute from Cochrane.
Yeah.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
you know, that's 2 solid hours every day.
That's
It's like
wild.
living in a city.
Yeah,
And that's not that cheap anymore either.
for sure. You're going to
You know.
commute for an hour. That's going to cost you on the gas at the
Well,
gas
yeah.
pump, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, you'd be breaking even anyways, just driving here and back every day. Like,
Yeah.
how much
And-
gas you using in a year?
And not to mention those that love this place tend to be a bit eco-minded or eco-conscious
Well, and
as well.
you come here because you want to live here,
Yeah,
not just because it's a job.
for sure.
Yeah.
So if all you're doing is commuting back and forth, then that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
So,
Do you have any ideas on some of the ways the town can maybe move the needle on housing for?
well, there's some really good things going on at the town. They're building. We're going to start building the Wolf, the Wolf Street housing there
Dockside. Yeah, I was going to say.
by the hospital.
Was that Grant was saying that? Yeah.
And there's some debate. There's not going to be enough parking for the people that live there. That's very short-sighted. That's one of my pet peeves. Is removing parking from development is crazy. Like, where are these people going to park their cars? And people will have cars.
Yeah.
If you want to do things here other than just be in town, you need a car.
I would agree.
If you want to go hiking someplace, you got to get there.
Mhm.
You can go to the ski hills without a car because there's shuttles, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
But still,
and-
you're on someone else's schedule, which isn't always
Yeah,
ideal.
it's not ideal, but at least it's possible.
Yeah.
But if you plan to do any hiking or backcountry skiing, cross-country skiing or whatever, you need a car to get there.
It's true.
Fair enough.
So people, the idea of Banff being car-free, it's a nice idea, but we live in a motorized society,
Yeah.
Right.
and we're not going to get away from that anytime soon.
So you maybe be for re-implementing parking minimums being installed
Yes.
for new developments?
Yes.
Which is a fair point. We've kind of seen both sides of that.
Well, do you think it's going to help at all, like, to entice developers to develop here if they don't have to worry about parking? Like, is it even going to
Well, I think so.
make a dent?
But you got to think about too that. So, let's say you redevelop an old single-family house
Mhm.
and make an 8-plex, 10-plex out of it, or whatever. How much are those places going to cost?
So I live in an example of that next door,
Yeah.
right? So there's 2 duplex family homes torn down to put in 32 or 36 units
For sale or for rent?
for rent only. They can never be for sale.
Oh, okay.
We have underground parking,
Mm-hmm.
not enough for every unit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's never full.
Mm-hmm.
So arguably,
There's enough.
it's not that everyone doesn't So arguably there is enough. I know a lot of people park on the street as well.
Sure.
Some may have 2 vehicles. That's kind of our position at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have one inside, but we can't have 2 of them inside.
Mhm.
That's part of the bylaws. You cannot have more than 1 vehicle per unit.
Mm-hmm.
So that works for a couple, but if you're like 2 couples sharing a unit, it's a little bit tougher that way. And honestly, I think it's like there has to be a give and take, right? I feel like
Yeah, fair.
that's
Oh, yeah,
a good one.
definitely.
Like
But
forcing,
the other part of that is if those are rentals,
yeah,
if they're for sale, how much are they going to cost? They're going to cost $1 million for a condo.
I don't think people would buy what we have for that price.
Okay, but maybe
Like,
that's not a good example. But
yeah.
if you redevelop something to resell
Uh-huh.
the condos after or whatever you've built, well, they're
You're like, I'm a cook. I'm not gonna
you're not going to buy a
I'm not
million.
gonna qualify for a $500,000.
If they were
Mortgage,
selling
mortgage,
these
you know what I mean?
by units, I don't think they would be affordable because the square footage and the price would just not work out.
Well, we have to
Like,
look at. I think we kind of have to look at our demographic here too, right? Like nobody here has a high-paying manufacturing, science,
Yeah.
or industry job, right?
Yeah.
Like very, very few people here. Like,
mhm.
sure, you own a popular business downtown. That might be different for you if you're pulling in X amount of dollars per year. But for the average person here making, $35,000 a year, like, what are you going
Like I said, minimum wage is $15.
Right, like what are you
Yeah.
gonna like at $30,000 a year? What mortgage are you gonna get?
None.
Like, nothing. They're not
Yeah.
even gonna give you a mortgage on a $100,000 home, let
They're not
alone
s- they're
a
not even-
500,000. Like, you know what I mean? It's just they're not. It's not in. Why would the bank do that? They have nothing to gain from
yeah.
it,
Mhm.
and you know what I mean. Like it's. I always question that as well. Like, how much are these units costing to buy, and who in the hell
It's going to buy
is
buy them,
is
yeah.
getting approved for a $500,000 mortgage?
Uh-huh.
Like.
We're not.
No, I'm not. I'm not ever once in my entire lifetime will I ever be able to afford that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and it's not just a Banff problem.
no.
It's a Canadian problem, a world problem. And so some people have suggested, well, maybe we need fully subsidized housing. Subsidized means either the town pays for it, the Alberta government pays for it, the government, all the governments pay for it somehow. And that's a political decision that needs to be made if we're going to go down that road. But and Banff has had some very successful housing projects that are affordable, like Middle Springs, and I know lots of people that live there, and it's great, and but it's different now. And
well, for sure, I think like a development like Middle Springs, the realities of that I don't think are possible because
the ship has sailed.
That's not possible anymore. No. So like alternative measures.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of land, right?
Yeah,
exactly. But that was kind of the last go at that.
Mm-hmm. So where do we go from here?
Well, I said I don't necessarily have the answers, but I don't think. Like I said, it's a bit of a pet peeve, but removing parking requirements completely is a very good idea. That's going to turn around and bite us.
Yeah.
Because eventually, where the car is going to go.
You think it's just taking a problem from one hand and putting it into another,
little bit.
Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, there might be some solutions with intercept parking.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we don't have a lot of options there.
Yeah.
And
because you can't force people. That's the thing. The town does not have the jurisdiction to force people, right? Like that has to come from a Parks Canada perspective.
Well, outside inside the town boundary, there's not really any room to build a giant parkade.
Well, no, and I think people would be very much against building. Like I had a guest mention that. They're like, you know what they need to do? They need to make like a big 10-level parkade. And I'm like, well, maybe,
That's been talked about.
Not in the park. Maybe they should do that in Canmore and Deadman's.
But there's no room out there either.
So,
fair enough. That, 20 years ago there was.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
My thought was to use the casino. Like,
yeah. I mean,
if they want to get involved in driving up more
might,
people,
and that's a long ways from here.
I mean,
fair enough.
That's a lot of buses and a lot of shuttling.
Yeah.
I
mean, what's it, 45 minutes out to the casino at least?
Yeah, from here probably.
Yeah. And then you're still bringing bus.
But if you team that up with a high-speed train, then it becomes quite convenient. But depends who you ask, I guess.
Have you ever been on a high-speed train?
No.
Well, you need special tracks.
Yeah.
They go 300 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
So you picture a train going 300 kilometers an hour through Canmore, downtown.
Oh.
That's not going to happen.
No.
Well, it would stop in Canmore.
Yeah, I know, but there's no room in Canmore for a new track.
Right.
We will talk about the ARP in a bit, so we'll get to that. That's a very multifaceted one. And people from Parks Canada specifically, like from an ecology standpoint, having more trains coming through is not necessarily good for wildlife neither, right? But having worked for Park Canada for over 3 decades, you have a first-hand experience on increased visitation. Now, big topic, over-tourism. We discussed it earlier. It's not a new problem. Do you think it's something that we're facing? And like, we've discussed a lot about maybe it's a perception problem of like, we have an idea of what busy is, and maybe that needs to change.
That's right. Like I said, when I first came here, I thought it was busy.
Yeah.
And because it was, weekends were super busy. Now it's even busier, but what's busy, right? If you go to other places in the world, it's worse. But we shouldn't be, that's not what we should be shooting for, the worst.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's not a really good goal.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, some places in the world like Venice or they've definitely tipped the boat over, literally.
Good pun.
Yeah, no doubt, good pun.
And so, yeah, how do we deal with that? Well, over tourism is a nice new word that's been invented.
We love it.
Yeah, great. And, it means busy.
Yeah.
I think we have more of a car problem than a people problem. And like I said earlier, like they're driving around, exhaust fumes everywhere. And it used to be we didn't have any ped bridges. Every pedestrian had to go across that road bridge with all that traffic. It was awful sometimes, And so we made some great progress with those ped bridges. And but and the core of downtown sometimes is super busy, but you get a little bit away on foot, and it's not that bad.
True.
It's actually quite nice. It's really nice. And but the cars milling around with no place to go to park, that's not very nice.
Mhm.
So I think we have more of a car problem.
I would agree with you there. I just spitballing ideas was like there's attractions on the other side that mitigate traffic for people to get to the attractions.
Yeah.
Maybe make the people that benefit from those attractions implement a piece of infrastructure like a second vehicle bridge where you could keep people moving in a circular manner. So like I think that's the main choke point, right? If like say the second pedestrian bridge, or no, the first one, sorry, was able to accommodate vehicles, then you can have one bridge going one way, one bridge going that way. And then, if you get there and it's full, well, at least there's a place to get out. That was kind of my idea. But again, like,
I don't think you'll get a support for the people that live on Muskrat Street.
of course not. Of course
Yeah, good
not.
point.
But again, like no one's ever going to be happy with all solutions. A big part of making these decisions is
Yeah. I think it's better to look at getting the vehicles out of downtown,
for
whether
sure.
it's RVs, fifth wheels, some vehicles,
Mhm.
people that,
That don't need to be there.
yeah.
Would you ever-
And manage, what happens at the gondola with the parking lots there and not just ignore it.
Right.
Well, that's it. I feel like even like the town of Banff uses its resources to get people to these attractions where the attractions I feel should be getting people to their, like, you know what I mean? They should be the one charged with getting people to their own attractions, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
that's
there's
just
definitely an
my
argument there.
Would
That's
you
just my
ever
opinion.
support a vehicle cap like during the busy seasons?
Like a complete vehicle cap,
Yeah, like say like
like no cars.
yeah, like
No,
just like once we-
2,400
Yeah, like
or
once we reach a limit, like
3,400 cars.
Well, I think the permit system has been discussed is kind of that, but not
Right.
really a cap. Like I said, there's so many parking spots in town
Yeah.
and up a Sulphur Mountain
Right.
and at the rec grounds. And so, whatever that number is, figure out how many people you let into town with their vehicles.
Mhm.
And the other people either, come a different time because they don't come every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Come a different time, or there's intercept parking someplace. There's a little bit of intercept parking at the on the Minnewanka Road there in that parking lot.
right,
You
sure.
could have that. And but I think, like I said, little steps. Like even if you started with no campers, no commercial traffic, not commercial traffic, but no campers, no fifth wheels across the bridge.
Like without a reservation, like say,
Like,
yeah.
why does a camper need to go across the bridge?
Yeah,
There's no
that's
camping
true.
over there.
Yeah.
Now it's the vehicle, like the rental vehicle they have, so
Mhm.
they want to go over
Right,
there. But
right.
parks, they also use the Rome. The Rome is a huge success story for the town of Banff.
I would agree.
And Canmore, and between the two, and a lot of people commute on it, and in both directions. And
Well, it's also really opened up a real nice connection to Lake Louise during the summer,
Yeah.
especially for locals that
Right.
want to get
Well,
there.
and
Totally.
Minnewanka as well. Like the bus goes out. To
Oh, yeah,
Minnewanka
man,
now as
there's,
well. Like
Johnson's Lake.
yeah. Like I've taken the bus to go camping at Two Jack. Like I just brought all my gear and my backpack and a cooler.
yeah,
got
so
on
you
the
can
bus.
do that, which is great.
People
That's
looked at me
sweet.
like I was crazy, but
That's awesome.
I mean, it drops you off right across from the gate. Like it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can do these things without a vehicle if you want, if you really want to. Well,
So being a former Parks Canada employee,
Yeah.
how do you feel about the relationship between town and Parks Canada? And do you think there's like room for growth there in how we deal with our tourist situation at the moment?
Yeah, I think a little bit. Seems sometimes like the communication. First of all, there's not a lot of communication between the town and the residents about how that goes and what discussions they have.
Mhm.
And there was suggestions of 2 meetings a year. Well, that doesn't really make between parks and the town. That I'm not sure that that's very helpful.
I feel
I
like
think
it
it
should
should
be
be-
more frequent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And transparent,
Mhm.
and the whole council. I think the whole council should be engaged in those meetings. Not so it turns into a free for all,
Yeah. Yeah.
but between and a group of Parks Canada people including the superintendent, of course, or their designate, and have regular meetings, so there isn't this confrontational, situation all the time.
Well, I think, I don't know, that's a bit of a nuanced situation in my opinion, because during especially the ped zone, it was painted out as this very confrontational situation. But then I talked to the superintendent of parks and I talked to people in the town of Banff, and they don't seem to think it's confrontational at all. They seem to be pretty content with each other and how it's being dealt with.
Maybe.
Or maybe they're just afraid to shoot shots to someone maybe in the media, but they didn't seem to paint it as confrontational.
Well, for instance, one of the big successes around here is the Bow Valley Parkway cycling.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, right?
Love it.
It's busy, it's crazy, it's a big success story. And last year, somebody in town was complaining that all these people were parking at the Fenlands, because that's inside the town of Banff, and they're just park users, not town users. Like, okay, that's not very good. It's not an us and them thing. We're all in this together.
For sure.
We should be anyway. So yeah, there's definitely, it's lacking there, and if I get elected, I hope I can move that needle a little bit.
Well, I think that's definitely what's needed. We've discussed it with people before, of especially maybe having some citizens involved in the conversation, maybe some community leaders,
right,
as well as maybe some First Nations input.
Well, citizens, like a committee the idea of a committee has been floated.
Yeah.
With all these people, the broad representation of all these people, and that could advise council, that could, and parks, and be part of the equation, so that
I think it would help the higher end of the political spectrum, being Parks Canada and federal, be a little bit more aware, like maybe with some more frequency of what's happening in the town, right? Because we're in a unique situation,
right?
But maybe it seems from that perspective, it's not treated as such a unique situation, depending on who's handling it. I don't know.
Yeah, makes sense.
We'll leave that up to you, I guess. Banff's tourism economy definitely depends on frontline workers. We've been discussing this a lot, is what are ways that we can better support frontline workers? At one point, they're going to be priced out, right? People that are washing dishes, cleaning hotel rooms. We talked about minimum wage and how that people on minimum wage affect the life, they're the lifeblood of this town.
They are.
We need them. At what point do we, what ways can we help them out in their life in Banff?
Well, they won't stay long if they live in miserable conditions, which a lot of them do.
Well, yeah, arguably, for sure. Or they have multiple jobs.
Or they have multiple
or where
jobs.
They're treated poorly,
But, some of them, and that's always been the case, came for a winter, came for a summer, put up with the miserable living conditions because it was nice to be here, and then leave. Or
found themselves different work, which is kind of what people that want to stay do, right?
Yeah. So, I don't have the answers. I mean, I just saw last week or a while ago in the paper a supervisory job advertised at $21 an hour. Well, $21 an hour these days is not very much,
right?
And I mean, it's more than minimum wage
for sure.
But how do you live on that?
Well, that's what I mean. What are some of the ways that we can protect those people making the least amount of money that want to be here?
Well, and we need them too, right? Like
exactly.
We talked about it last episode. During COVID, you had like a 93% unemployment rate in town, which begs to differ that 93% of people in town are
starving
people. Well, not only that, they're the people that are washing dishes, making beds, cooking the food for every single visitor in town, pouring drinks, waiting on them. You know what I mean? Like this is a massive chunk of our workforce, and a lot of them are feeling like they're just going to get squeezed out because you got to work 16 hours a day to afford an apartment and some internet and a phone. It's like, at what point, like what can we do to help them, like at least experience Banff in any sort of, I don't know, enjoyable way,
meaningful way? Yeah. Well, the short answer to your question is I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very nuanced problem.
I don't think anybody knows, but and it's not unique to Banff. You see that in a lot of resorts, across the world. And and people do live in high density conditions because of it.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
I don't know. It's like how my just kind of thoughts behind that question is like, how can we get, I don't know, it's everyone a bit of a respectable means of life in Banff. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like to have someone who say has to wash dishes 40 hours a week and then have another 20 hours a week at another place. Like we all want to make it here. We all want, you know,
Right.
it's
Well, the only way to change that is people make more money, higher wages.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, then you get into the big sensitive discussion about a living wage. What's a living wage? And it's certainly not 15 or 20 bucks an hour.
Do you think that's more on the business owners to provide that for their staff if they want to keep
some do.
long-term meaningful
Some do
staff? I would agree. Some do. We're in a good position. I feel that I would say that, you know, I'm happy with my employment.
Okay, well, that's great.
But not everyone's in the same boat. I think the general consensus would probably be
No, they got to be
opposite.
part of it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously a huge part of the economy, right? I mean, that's what drives the economy in this town is business.
For sure.
And so, yeah.
Well,
Like
I don't think
how can we incentivize the business owners to have a little bit more?
Well, that's what I mean. Like everybody wants to make money.
Uh-huh.
So are the business owners going to take money out of their pockets and adjust their lifestyle to better suit to people that are making them the money, which is generally no.
But can you give incentives for that?
Right.
Are there ways to do that?
You mean give them money?
That's well, I don't know. That's what I mean. Is like we talk about government subsidies. Maybe that's a way to do it, right?
But like at what, like we don't need, like, I don't know. In my eyes, like if you own a popular business downtown on Main Street, you make plenty enough money.
Well, we've talked to a lot of those business owners too, like Bunny from Melissa's
Right.
big shout out. He's like during the ped zone argument or discussion, we were like, you stand to benefit from the ped zone. Why would you oppose it? And he says, we're doing fine. Like businesses in Banff are doing fine. Like focus should be more on protecting the people that need it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fair enough. And I mean, they're right on the main intersection of downtown. Like,
exactly.
You know
so
what I mean? Like
for him to have that attitude is like, it kind of got me thinking of like, man, how do we get more business owners to have this type of attitude?
Right.
Because a happier frontline worker gives a better experience to the guests, and it all kind of is.
Well, they
happier
stay.
ecosystem.
You know, they don't reduce your turnover, and but ultimately it comes down to what businesses want to pay their staff.
Yeah,
and some of they're not all rich.
No, it's true.
And so some of them are struggling, and you know, so it's tough.
I think we're easy to paint business out with a bad brush, but it's also the reason we're all here. So we can't like it's the same thing with tourism or over tourism or whatever, some forms of it. Like we're all here because of it. So it's like
we need
one of my first years. I remember one of my coworkers was whining about the crowds in town. And I said to him, well, don't forget, this is why you have a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Without these crowds, we wouldn't have a job.
No.
Without people in the seats, like we don't have, that's it. Without people through the gates.
They're not going to give you hours at work if there's no one showing up.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean?
So whether it's a restaurant or hotel or park employees, you know, there's a reason there's national parks in the country that have few staff.
It's true.
There's a lot of staff here because it's a very busy park.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I don't want to paint our show out to be anti-business or anti-big business or anything like that. I think it's how can we all as a community, business, town, park alike kind of follow more of the same ethos when it comes to this place. You know what I mean? And protecting the people and the place itself, right? Instead of using it.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Just my ideas.
I agree.
Train station ARP, major point of top discussion in town. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, the general concept of a train, is that what we're talking about? Like a train to Banff?
Train to Banff, from the airport to downtown.
Yeah.
With a link to Banff, Canmore, Lake Louise.
Right. So you got to look at history a little bit. Now I think we're back to a proposal on the existing track.
Yes.
Well, we've had that before. It was called Via Rail. It failed economically.
Yeah.
One reason it failed is you prioritize freight because there's millions of dollars on every one of those trains that comes through here.
And I think
Yep.
we hear the frequency of those trains
Oh,
going
it's-
to
it's-
town
it's
every
yeah,
45 minutes.
millions of dollars an hour
Mm-hmm.
coming through here. So that's a priority, not a tourist coming to Banff. So it took
Interesting
forever to
point.
get from Calgary to here. So who wants to do that?
Yeah.
So then you get into, okay, that's on the existing track. And then I mentioned earlier, you need a new track for a high-speed train. The tracks
Yes.
have to be banked. It's pretty flat between here and Calgary, but
Mm.
you can't have level crossings. You can't have a level crossing for something that goes 300 kilometers an hour.
No,
Oh,
definitely
God.
not.
So you
Yeah.
need overpasses. It's huge infrastructure. You see it all over the world.
Yeah.
And in different parts of the world. And then, you're going to kill way more wildlife if you have a fast train.
Like, I don't know what
And-
the frequency is now, but it's already quite high
It
of
is.
animal loss on the train tracks.
Yes.
And then I don't know what the increase of that would be if you increase the speed of the trains, because it's from my understanding that the trains have to decrease their speed when they enter the national park.
Well, that would probably be the concept.
Yeah.
But it's
But
those
still, on the
300
way, there's still
it's not good for a
wildlife.
300-kilometer train to hit something that weighs a few hundred pounds.
No way.
God, no.
No way.
Oh, God, no. You might as well hit a Honda at that
Yeah.
point.
So,
Yeah.
so it's not that simple.
Mm.
And the reality is, I don't think that a train will replace cars.
Mhm.
Again, we live in a place where people are going to get in their cars in Calgary and drive to Banff if they
Fair.
can. And they're not going to drive to a train station, and especially if it's a slow train.
Fair.
Like if it took you 3 hours to get to Banff, who's going to do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I
going to
don't
waste half
think-
your day just
People do it
getting-
on sightseeing trains like the Rocky Mountaineer because
Yeah.
the point isn't to get
Right.
Which is
from A to B.
astronomically expensive.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But the point isn't getting from A to B. It's a sightseeing thing.
It's
It's
like
an
a luxury
experience. Yeah,
experience.
it's an
exactly.
experience. Yeah, yeah.
And so that's not a big deal. They sit on sidings a lot
Mhm.
when the freights are going by.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes. They're on the same track. And so, yeah.
And some would
And
argue.
by the way, there's something else. It costs a lot of money. Look
Of
at
course.
what's happening in California. Billions of dollars invested on a high-speed train between San Francisco and Los Angeles that was supposed to be finished this year.
Mhm.
They're not even close. And now they've pulled the financial rug out.
Uh-oh.
So now it's done.
I don't know what the
Or
next
someone
step
else
is.
has to come and pick up the pieces of
I
someone
think
else's project.
probably. But the huge, whatever estimates are being floated, it's going to be way more.
It's going to be minute compared to the finished
Yeah.
cost.
They cost a lot of money.
So you don't think it's a viable option then?
Anything's viable if you put enough
You
money
put
into
enough
it.
money. Fair. Because that's the thing. There's also the wildlife overpasses. Like
Yep.
you're talking about, like this project, I think has been underestimated as far as the logistics of building track and having it adjacent to what's already there. Because the main same tracks probably couldn't be used. You're talking about
Right. But again, look at
about
Canmore.
indigenous
There's
land
no place
as
to put it
well,
in Canmore.
right?
You're going to level all those hotels that are beside the tracks right now?
Ooh, good point.
I don't think so.
There's new development right there too. If you look
Oh, yeah.
at like right of post,
Right beside the track.
Esso and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no room to put another track in Canmore.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the community plan at all that we've been drafting for the
Yeah.
next decade and beyond?
Yeah.
What are some of the good points that you think are found in it? What are some of the gaps you feel need to be addressed?
Well, I guess to be honest, I don't know in that much detail, but my experience with plans, I've worked for the government, is plans are really, really good at as a stalling tactic.
I think the government's really good at making plans.
Yeah, not implementing.
Okay, fair.
Any government.
Yeah.
So it is supposed to be a 10-year plan. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. There was another plan there, and people.
Well, there's a lot of plans put into
There's a
one
park
master
management plan, right?
Yeah.
and people tend to ignore plans when it's convenient. So I'm a cynic when it comes to that.
What would be your priorities if voted in? Would it be to follow these plans, or would it be to?
Yeah, and then like I'm a proponent for trying some simple things that are reversible,
Okay.
like the without beating it to death, the permit idea for vehicles.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, quit doing it.
Fair.
Yeah.
If you build a giant parkade, if it doesn't work, oops, you just spend $500 million.
I forget who was that floated the idea of a parkade with a wildlife overpass over it, and I thought that was a pretty smart idea.
Was that Grant?
Yeah, that won't be cheap. That won't be cheap. So,
well, the thing, I don't think cheap should be the barrier, right? Like,
no, but I think of reversible ideas that the ped zone was reversible overnight, literally, almost.
Yeah,
you could reverse that decision.
And the parking, and the mayor said that too, right? Like, she's not opposed to reversing things that have been put in place. I think maybe was referring to the parking, or like based on its need, right? Like,
some things though that were done are not that easily reversible without spending a lot of money, like the Mountain Avenue lane thing.
Yeah,
that doesn't really work.
No.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a really good part about that project is the great bike and pedestrian lane.
Oh
beside
yeah,
it.
the bike lane. I ripped down my bike all the time.
It's great. And but if you decide it doesn't work, should you decide it doesn't work, changing that's going to cost you a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and but if you don't try anything, you don't get anywhere.
100%.
So, but it's better to try things that are, like I said, easily reversible than the jumping in the deep end right away.
Fair.
Yeah.
Which I think is a pretty level-headed approach to our problems, right? Maybe because I've been on the radical action, like.
Well, yeah, like you talk about the train.
Action,
the train. The concept of the train. If you went down that road, 20 years from now, we could look back and go, "What were those guys thinking?" Like
trains might be obsolete at that point.
Well, no, they might, or they might say, "Why did they wait so long?"
Yeah,
or the other. Yeah, I mean, time's a big equalizer. So
yeah, fair enough.
Very well said. Lately, over the past few days, I've been exploring a little bit of a different topic about aging in place. A growing number of longtime residents, myself included, kind of a topic that I was maybe overlooking in the past, being that we kind of tend to focus on younger demographic problems. How can we better support our residents that want to stay here into their old age?
Yeah, there's not a lot of residences for people, call them assisted living or the next steps. There's not a lot of that here in Banff. There's 2 buildings essentially.
Yeah,
and they have limits for sure. And there's care at the hospital too, but very limited.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that he died, but ended up having to go to Calgary. He lived in Canmore, but Canmore didn't have it either. There's more in Canmore now than there was then.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we got to look at that. And then the new Wolf Street thing is going to have some units, accessible units.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many exactly, but I heard there's going to be some units in there. And but yeah, there's a big part of the population that is long retired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting there. And but some of their requirements too. I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said, I need a car. I'm not taking. She needs a walker to get around. She says, I'm not taking the Rome to go to the grocery store.
No.
Yeah,
I can't. She
not
said,
feasible, right?
No, and so we have to recognize that those people need vehicles to get around. Once you get into a facility, it's less of an issue. But but we don't have many of these facilities. So and we should consider that, and because people aren't going to want to leave just because.
Well, that's it. I think
they lived here all their life. They don't want to move to Calgary.
I think of a scenario that happened myself, where I had a medical emergency where I had to be brought to Calgary via ambulance, and then you're kind of stuck there. They don't drive you back. You know what I mean?
They might
crazy.
If you need more care, but
yeah, no, I didn't need more care at all after that. But it was
you're on your own.
Yeah, I can imagine. What if I was an elderly person that maybe mobility is an issue? You're just stuck in Calgary by yourself, or having to travel hours daily to get care, or maybe weekly, whatever your needs are. It's I don't know.
Yeah. It makes sense.
It's just dawned on me that these people may need some looking out for as well,
Well, it's another reason why Banff and Canmore, one of the reasons why Banff and Canmore very desirable because very close to a big city.
Mhm.
Yeah, fair enough.
Where there's lots of hospitals and
True.
high-end care. If you live in a remote part of British Columbia, for instance, that's not necessarily the case. Oh, there's a kitty.
Well, we've got a few minutes left here. A couple of questions left. Firstly, why should people vote for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think they should vote for me because, sorry, the kitty there, but like I said, I have experience in working with groups of people, achieving things. When I left Parks, we were at a pretty critical time structurally for reorganizing, the section I work with. And, I like to think that I helped quite a bit to make that happen, and not on my own, of course, but council is 7 people, including the mayor.
Right.
And it needs to be a team effort. And I think I can do that. And I'm not sure everybody can do that. It's not for everybody, but
I think collaboration is a big part of what we should look for as far as qualities in our council members, for sure, and the willingness or capability to work with others.
Well, and respect everybody's opinion. There's been some issue for a number of years with that, and I might get some flack for saying it, but you have to respect everybody's opinion. In the end, you have to make a decision one way or the other, and you're not going to please everybody.
No way.
But
the willingness to ruffle a few feathers, I don't see as a negative quality.
Oh, I haven't had a problem with that.
I think personally, having that steadfastness from our council is something that should be applauded.
Well, somebody's got to ask a question. You can't just be a pushover and let everybody try to please everybody. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you're going to have to vote one way on it or
exactly.
another. So.
Yeah.
I clipped Peter Poole saying that, what has he said? He's like, I was seen as combative for asking the tough questions. And I'm like, therein lies the issue, right?
100%.
Is
who's going to ask them if nobody asks them?
We want people there that are going to ask the tough questions and not come up with one plan, maybe come up with a multitude of plans. And then, I don't know, they don't all have to be right, but components of one can be right, components of another can be right. Or again, maybe focusing on reversible changes may be a way forward.
No doubt.
What are you most hopeful for when you think of the future of Banff?
Well, a lot of things we talked about. A place for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it can't be for everybody because, first of all, not everybody likes it here. A lot of people come here
fair enough.
and they go, "You live here? Oh, why would you live here?"
It's too cold,
most people live in cities. They like cities and the amenities that cities provide. But Banff's not going to become a city.
No.
But a place where, like you said, seniors can retire and keep living here.
Mm-hmm.
People can have a high quality of life, not live in poverty. There's definitely people living in poverty here.
For sure.
And that's not right. I mean, it happens everywhere in the world. I know that. And but homelessness is a huge issue across the world, and there's some of that here too, depending how you define it. I mean, years ago there was people that used to live under the bridge, the road bridge.
I remember that. Yeah.
I know people that have camped
CIBC.
Camped out for a year at a time, just in a campsite, just chilling, right, waiting for accommodation. It's
Vanmore, very popular phenomenon behind the Save-On.
So those are the big issues we have to face, especially when there's more people living here, and there is. Like I said, when you go from 10 employees to 30 employees, well, that's 20 new people that need a place to live.
Right. Well, when we're already short on housing by several hundred units, right?
Easily, yeah. So you don't just keep cramming people into the same basement suite.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, I think there's humane ways to do it. And I think, again, it's going to be a density thing. It's going to be managing how we use space. There's
Yeah.
no other ways around it, right?
Yeah, nobody's got all the solutions, including me, for sure. I wish. But yeah, I think I could bring some change and I'd like to be part of the change. And ultimately, it's going to come down to the people that live here to decide that.
Absolutely. Because we all want the same things. And I know it seems like we're, hammering it in. Sound like a broken record, but we all just want this place to be better than we got here, right? We all just want to have the next generation experience this place the way, at least that's what I want. I want the next generation to come and experience it the way I have and get to.
Well, some things have clearly gotten better.
Yeah.
I live on the other side of the river, and those two ped bridges have totally changed that side of Banff. It's so much more walkable and cyclable now. It's just amazing.
Absolutely.
For sure. Remember people
year round
walking across the ice bridge there all winter. And you see people out there, you're like, dude, that's getting thin. You better maybe take the
elk have drowned there. It's we've done a lot of great things. And the town has done a lot of great things for this place,
for sure.
And this council, previous councils, and
let's keep doing it.
Let's keep the ball rolling.
And Women Anti-Paw Foundation, everyone, that's the thing. That Banff, I think Seth said it this morning. He's like, if you want to come and do good things, Banff is a place that really facilitates that, right? As there is kind of funding, there is opportunities, and there is need.
Well, and a sense of community as well, right? Like everybody's kind of willing to help everybody out.
Yeah.
In the long run, it is how it is. Like everybody just wants to have this place be amazing as it always has been, right? So.
Well, and for the town this size, we have a lot of stuff here. We have a rec center. We have a brand new playground for kids, and the rec grounds. The outdoor rec grounds are amazing.
Yeah, and
we have a lot here. We have a pool. It's not owned by the town, but there is a pool here, and it's. As far as amenities, it's pretty good. We have it pretty good. We're not missing too much.
I don't think so. No, definitely not. So.
Major hockey stadium, maybe.
Well, you know what? The rec center was built around the hockey academy.
Exactly.
Before that, there was only one ice rink.
Yeah.
Well, there is public input right now on the redevelopment of that as well, which will include hopefully climbing wall, more gym facilities, and kind of a different focus now that the Banff Hockey Academy is no more.
Yeah, big climbing wall is probably one of the things missing here. There's a little one up at the Banff Center.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff to climb in the area.
But a safe way to
learn. Like the Canmore one, the elevation place.
Elevation fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I poked my head in there for the first time recently in the past 6 months. Man, the amount of use is pretty mind-boggling.
Well,
it's
you can
never ending.
Put not only the floor but the walls into use. That opens up quite the opportunity, right? So, crazy.
Right on, Mark. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
My pleasure.
Great to meet you. I think you got some great ideas moving forward. I think obviously having the parks background, we always love having that ecology mindset in the back of our minds.
Okay.
So, interesting thoughts on the train. Interesting thoughts on Ped Zone. I think. One thing that I take from this episode is willingness to work together as a council. Again, not that they're not doing that now, but different perspectives bring forth different solutions. And I think that's what we need is innovative solutions and
big time
different ideas in the pool moving forward, So, and if you think Mark brings that, you can vote for him on October 20th. Hopefully this is giving you guys a little bit more perspective on who Mark is. I know I definitely got some sitting down chatting today. Thanks again for taking the time. If it's your first time listening, please give us a like and subscribe. Helps us bring you more episodes like this. 3 more next week.
Banging them out, buddy.
The week after.
Banging them out until the elections.
We're chatting.
Coming up.
We're having the conversations. We're shaking the hands, meeting the people, and we're taking you along with us. So big shout out to Drink Shaft. Big shout out to the Rose and Crown. Go get your Drink Shaft at Townhouse Liquor. They rule as well. Thanks again, Mark. And like every week,
see you next Tuesday.
Make sure you vote.
Get out there and vote. Get active.